Rue, start the show! I'm Beatrice, your badass branding strategy girl, and welcome to the Art of Branding Badassery podcast. Rue expects your best branding game. You don't want to miss out on 95% of your audience, do you? Woo! Let's freaking go. Today we're talking about the power of understanding the market landscape through market research. And we've got on board the entrepreneurial force of nature that has not one, not two, but three badass businesses under her belt. She's a master of the hustle, gym muscle, and a master of marketing consulting. The Ariel Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us today, girl.
I am so excited. So excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, same here. And seriously, like 2 hours in the gym every day. You're a freaking fitness superstar. Seriously.
I have to keep saying somehow, and that's how I do it. So 3 businesses, that's a lot.
So that's your sanity. So like jumping into that, we've been connected for almost a year now. And through our chats, you're running those 3 businesses alone. That's like no small feat. Heck, even running one is a wild ride. How do you manage to keep your sanity intact and still love what you do?
I work out of what I love to do. So all 3 of my businesses are from my passions, and that's like a huge, huge thing for me. I do fitness things, obviously, because I'm in the gym, so I might as well. And then I have, of course, my social media marketing business. That's my number one baby. And then I also have an Etsy page for planners and organization. And that's the other thing that keeps me insane and keeps me on track, is that I'm so organized and planned. Notion is my child, my life, for business, all 3 of them. I have everything built out to a point where Notion was like, you have to pay for this because you have too many things in here. So that's kind of how I have everything. So.
Oh no, there's a point in Notion where there'll be like, sorry, you have too many things, because I'm like you. I have everything on Notion. It is way too packed. Way too packed.
Yeah. But it's beautiful. I love it. So got to that point, but it's not, I don't think it's super expensive. I think it's pretty affordable. So I love it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of success, you've been successful in creating marketing and social media campaigns for a while now. How important do you feel market research about not only the target audience, but also competitors and environment is?
Absolutely. I think so for me, whenever I do like an intensive or VIP day for my clients, I always start out with some sort of market research, whether that just be them finding their target audience or them finding their goals or who we're up against and all that. It's all the same circle, and it all needs to be included whenever you're creating any sort of social media campaign. It's very, very important. And I know there are a lot of people out there who just want someone to post, who just want someone to do this. And my business, me and my team, we're not going to do that. We're going to find out, we're going to do that research, do our SWOT analysis, and we're going to get in there and see, all the ins and outs, so we know who we're marketing to, we know who we're up against.
Yeah. I mean, so if somebody says to you that they don't have any competitors, either they've niched themselves so deeply, or they consider that they don't compare because quotation marks quality that they give with what they're doing. What are your thoughts? How would you approach that?
I think you would still need to research. It's not necessarily that we're putting you up against somebody to have competition or to compare yourselves to somebody, but it's for your own good, and it's for your own, so you know how to set your goals. So you know, again, who you're marketing to. You cannot, I post a lot about this, but you cannot just jump into something and feel like it's going to be successful. That all starts off with the basis. And whether you think you have competitors or not, we're still going to do that research. We're still going to see like what we have going out there in the world. Because you can't yes, you are unique. Yes, you have your unique goals. Yes, you have your unique voice and your branding, what you do, and you help them with that. But there's always going to be a level of research to get to know your audience, to get to know what's the psychographics and the demographics and all of that. And that starts off with market research. That starts off with figuring out if you're right or wrong, whether you have competition or not. I mean, you wouldn't know that until you do the research.
So what happens if you're completely wrong? If somebody's like, oh, I've just checked this, and their idea of what they thought was going to be, I don't know, their competitors or their audience is wrong.
What do you mean by wrong? Like it's just different from what they're thinking?
What they've actually found when they've done that market research.
And that's a good place to start, because now you've done the research and now you know how to set your goals.
It's that differentiation, right? It's okay, here we are, and this is what else is in the market. So, yeah, I mean, so what's your secret approach to evaluating the market environment and identifying trends that can influence your business decisions?
I really think that it's key, especially because I work with a lot of service-based entrepreneurs, and usually service-based entrepreneurs have a really, really deep passion for what they do and why. And I think it always starts off with, that starts with a little bit of branding, like what you do, and it also moves into what I do with social media marketing. And I think that is really, really key to figuring out, like, how to research, I guess. I'm trying to explain that, right? My brain's got a lot going on.
Where are you looking when you're doing market research?
I look at what my clients, who they want to reach. And I know, and I only work with people who have a target audience, because I have some people who are like, oh, I don't have a target audience. I work with everyone. And I'm like, how's that working for you? So I really niche down. Okay, so your passion, from one of my clients, her passion is to reach women entrepreneurs, also minority women entrepreneurs, but on a whole sphere of marketing and not just social media. So with her, her really deep passion is to create a whole woman in that. So not just marketing, just creating a whole woman. So we dig deep into that, and then we figure out everything about that person. We create an ideal persona, the age, the income level, and all that, just literally so in depth. And we take that and we do some research about what that person is searching for, what they need, what their emotional things are, how to appeal to every point of their life so that we can call them in to her audience and then eventually potential clients. On the flip side of that, we look at competitors who are also trying to look at minority women or service-based or creating whole women, or that's mostly like coaching, consultation type stuff. We look at how they're appealing to their audience, especially those who have a bigger platform, who have a lot of following and a lot of engagement, what they're doing there. And a key thing that I like to tell people is to look at the bigger platforms and go in their comments and see what their audience is saying in their comments and see how you can answer those questions on your platform.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Is that what you did as well for when you were establishing your 3 businesses? Like, where was it a different process for each one, or how did that change as, you start off with your first business doing the market research there, and then how did that change as you went to you got to the last business, recent one?
Yeah. So to be honest, whenever I started, my first business was my social media marketing. I started as a virtual assistant. I did see a lot of research, but I didn't know a lot about market research because it was my first business and I wasn't trained or anything. I went to school for nonprofit administration. So it was like not as much, as I would have got if I would have went for entrepreneurship or business operations or something like that. So I didn't do a lot for my first business. But then as I grew that first business, I realized, especially since I'm in social media marketing and that requires a lot of research, I realized that if I'm going to do something else, that I need to set the groundwork first. So for my fitness things, I focus on women with hormonal issues, and I do nutrition coaching through that. And for that, I do a lot of research of what those people are searching for when it comes to Black women in fitness, or Black women in PCOS, or Black women in hormonal issues. And then for my Etsy business, I see because all my businesses are really geared towards minority women because there's such a lack in everything for us. And that's where my passion drives, and that's where all my research comes from. Okay, so for my Etsy business, there's not a lot of organizational things or Notion templates or what are they called? Gutknecht templates for Black women that are geared towards Black women, and they're aesthetic, and they're even just a avatar of a Black woman. It's really hard to find. So that is where a lot of that research has come from, like trying to figure out, what my competitors are doing to draw in that audience with buying or getting fitness trainer and buying their Etsy templates, or, how can I appeal to them and how can I make things for them, and finding out what they want and what they're needing. So yeah, mostly a lot of research in my last two recent businesses. And then, of course, I'm doing a lot in my social media, but it didn't start off like that because I had no idea what I was doing. So.
Are you still doing research now? And where are you looking? What are you looking for?
Yes, I am still doing research because that's how I create content. I can't create content if I don't know what people want. So I am looking for fitness stuff on TikTok. TikTok has the best search algorithm. I love TikTok search algorithm because if you just put in, it'll pop up like suggestions. So for me, I just put in like PCOS and it'll pop up like PCOS, what is it? PCOS symptoms or stuff like that. And I create content geared towards that because people are searching.
Yeah, so
I did the same for the other ones.
So based on the hashtags or based on the content that's coming out of those searches?
Both, because you can create some good content. What I do is I just take it but I only take the ones that are aligned with my mission and vision. And then I kind of feed off of that. So a lot of times people are looking for PCOS supplements. And then I just talk about the supplements that have helped me with my PCOS. So it's not necessarily you're taking this prompt, I guess you could say, and making something generic out of it. You're taking the prompt and making it you, and then putting it out for your audience because they're following you for a reason. They want to see you in that.
Exactly. So your main, I guess, platform for market research at the moment is TikTok. Do you use any others, or would you recommend any others?
Yeah, so TikTok is for my fitness stuff. For Etsy, I use a platform. It's an Etsy research platform. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but there's a lot out there. And then for social media marketing, I use Answer the Public. I use LinkedIn a lot, actually.
Wow.
And then Instagram as well, because I like to really get where the people are that I'm trying to target and see what they're talking about, what they're searching for. But I really like Answer the Public.
That is so cool. So you're searching for a certain the topic, or what are you typing in, for example?
So let's see. I usually have themes. So that's what I like to do with my clients, and I have like my content pillars. So I'm not just searching. So like this month, I wanted to talk a little bit more about social media marketing and marketing for Black women, minority marketing, or you have to just get really specific too, or Black women entrepreneurship and kind of see, or just social media marketing. But that's also really broad. So that's why you get into the nitty gritty of what you're looking for in your target audience.
Because at the end of the day, if you type in a term which has so many results, then you're scrolling through so much. So if we niche it down to that real area, then you're going to get what it is that you're looking for, and you're using less time on it as well. So
exactly.
And as a seasoned social media marketer, could you share some tips or strategies for identifying and defining your target audience effectively?
Absolutely, yeah. Start with your heart. Start with your passion. We are doing this for your why and not for money. Yes, we need money, and yes, it will come. But if your ultimate goal is to gain money with your social media marketing, then it's, that's not enough. That's not enough. So who are you going to really dig deep into your why? Who are we marketing to? Why? What does this person look like? Create an ideal persona. And then you're going to take those, like I kind of said earlier, take those and research what that person would be looking for, what that person's hobbies are, what they like to do, and all that. So just for a quick example, my audience for myself, I talk a lot about a few different things that are passionate. So of course, social media marketing, the overhead. And I talk about plants, I talk about coffee, and I talk about like racial injustice and those type of issues. And those all three seem to resonate with my audience as well. Because your audience wants to know that you're not just trying to sell something, that you're trying to connect with them. That's why it's really key to do that market research of really getting in depth of who they are. So those are, I guess, my top tips. It's like really niche down and create an ideal persona document. There's a lot of templates out there too online for that if you need guidance. And then get in there and research. Google, like whatever platform you want to be on. I really like LinkedIn and Instagram, and then obviously TikTok for my fitness stuff. But for social media, LinkedIn and Instagram, and create content.
That's amazing. I love that so much. And if there was one question you'd ask people that are struggling specifically with market research, what would it be and why? Guide them to work out, how to do their market research in an effective way, where they're like, okay, this is where I start. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, I actually just thought of like three. Of course, like what I said, like who are you marketing to and why? What are your goals? And what platforms do you want to be on?
That's a big one. And I think a lot of people, they want to be on all of the platforms. They're like, the more platforms I'm on, the more like people will see me. But at the end of the day, that's a great way to get burned out, because to do one platform effectively, I mean, right? It is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people to pick 2 platforms, stick with that. And once you build a decent audience on there, you can obviously stick with those 2. Or you can hire out a team to do some other and repurpose on other platforms. But focus on 2 platforms. And you will get better results than trying to be everywhere all the time. And especially posting different content, it's chaotic and it's too much.
It's intense. So. And, at the end of the day, we need to play to our strengths, be it with writing or with video or, imagery. Like there is a specific platform for each one. So that's a good guideline right there.
Absolutely.
And look, there's one question that I ask everyone that comes on board for the podcast, and that is, what is the biggest societal norm that you want to push back on and teach others about?
Biggest societal norm, I guess, when it comes to social media.
And anything. It doesn't have to be specifically related to marketing or in general.
Okay, well, then that you have to look a certain type of way to be on anywhere on social media, or I just hate, especially being a Black woman, there's so much pushback towards us and so many things that people are like, well, I don't want to work with you, period, like over all my business because you're a Black woman and because you do this and this and this. Or because just so much, so many stereotypes. And I'm really, really, really trying to push back on that. Like Black women need to be seen at the same level as everybody else. And it's so, especially in this area that I'm in, North Dallas, it's so easy for people to just overlook us and overlook what we're doing and not treat us the same way as everybody else. So I don't want that to be the norm anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want us to be on the same level, whether that be, obviously I'm a big entrepreneur, business person, so especially in business, or just whether that be like walking down the street or getting the same hospitality as someone else in a coffee shop or something. So.
Let's get Rue in the case. Like, let's get her with their baseball bat and... Well, thank you so much again for joining, Ariel. How can people reach you?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn. At my username is Ariel Jackson Daniels. So it's Ariel like the mermaid, Jackson like Michael Jackson, Daniels like Jack Daniels. And then
that works.
Yes. On there is to everything. marketing. My link to my social media marketing is authenticainfluence.com, and it's authentic with an A and then influence.com.
Okay, thank you so much. Those details will also be in the episode description. And drop any questions you'd like answered about the show in the comments. And, of course, stay badass.